Hey guys, this is Kyle from Liquid Sky Cinema. We're going to show you today the Radian stabilization system. We're going to show you the pros and cons for having it rather than the microcopter board. We're using the Cinestar 3-axis gimbal put out by FreeFly Systems. We have the Canon 5D Mark II mounted in the gimbal as of right now. We're going to show you a demo on how well it moves. I'm going to show you a video from the static cam of me with the gimbal moving it, and then we're going to show you the video that's in the gimbal, and that way you can really get a good grasp on how well this Radian stabilization system works. Okay, as you can see, we have a Radian on the tilt axis. Back here we have a Radian on the roll, and up top, which you can't see, we have a Radian on the pan axis. Now the wiring I wired up exactly like FreeFly System has on their tutorials, with a few variations. I don't know how Tab does it, but he makes things look really clean. But I basically did exactly the same thing he did here. Twisted all the wires together, so that way everything's nice and clean. Wire tied everything as much as I could. One thing that he didn't have on his in the tutorial that mine does have, and that you will definitely need to get, is a 5-volt power supply. This is just a BEC from Castle Creation. It was like $24.95, pretty cheap, but it allows you to run the 3-cell. This one's from Quadrocopter, and so it converts it right down. I think the stock default is 5.1 volts. But that way you can run your Radian stabilization system and not have to run 2 batteries or monkey around with anything else. But this does have a lot of wire to it, so I found the best way to do it is mount it up into the servo here. It's still pretty clean. All the wires are out of the way. There's nothing dangling off, and things should really get caught. Okay, cool feature. The new Radian stabilization system does not require potentiometers. That's not where it gets its information from. It actually gets its information from the gyros. So the potentiometer, I don't know if you noticed, but it's missing. That's kind of pretty cool because you take off weight and less clutter and all that stuff. So that mounts right where the potentiometer used to be. Another thing that's really cool is that when you're doing your camera balancing, you would take off the belt here. And once the belt's off, a good balance should definitely be, you can leave it wherever and it should stay. So as far as the tilt axis is concerned, this is pretty much right where it should be. Now normally you would have to, with the potentiometers, you would have to power on, power up, get the servos to stop moving, and then you could throw your the band back on this wheel here. What's nice about the Radian stabilization system, it doesn't require the potentiometer, so you can just go ahead and put it right back on. It doesn't really matter where it is because it will just compensate. So you will notice that the potentiometer is still right here on this side, and that's just due to the fact that the gimbal itself, the support here, needs that the bar to ride on. Although it's not hooked up to anything at all. It would be nice if they get rid of that one, but maybe if they could make a post or something like that, some sort of axle. Looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm using the DX6i radio for this. This has no 3-mode switches anywhere on it. They do recommend to use a 3-mode switch. The modes in the Radian stabilization systems are mode 1 or off would be power to everything, but no power to the servos. It would be basically a dead gimbal. Mode 2 would be power to the servos, but no input from the radio at all. So it would basically be like flying without a camera pilot. And mode 3 would be power to the servos, but with the option to override from the radio. So if we go ahead and power this on, now it will switch right over from basically the off position, mode 1, to mode 3 with the DX6i. There is some mixing setups you can do to activate that mode 2, which I will have to do in the near future because I won't have my camera pilot with me all the time. So we'll go ahead and plug this in here. Everything comes on, lights come on, and now it's active. So as you can see, it's in mode 1. All the lights are on, but I got no activity within in the servos. As soon as I flip it, I have it in the gear switch, and it's on. So this will now allow me to tilt up and tilt all the way down. And it's pretty darn smooth compared to the microcopter board. It's gotten really better. Your roll is off, has been shut off, like normal. You can turn that on, but you know there's really no point to it. Now they have a gain settings. The gain settings are at 100% right now. They're pretty good, and they're stocked from the factory that way. But one way to check is to tap the side here, and you get no feedback. It won't start resonating and start trying to overcorrect. If you set it up and you tap it, it will jitter back and forth, and then you know that your gain is too high. The more balanced that your camera is in the gimbal, you can set your gain up higher. It will allow for faster reaction, and you know, you get a quicker response in the gimbal. But it seems that from the factory at 100%, it's pretty good right where it is. Another side note is that when you are in mode 3, which is what this is in right now, the camera pilot has complete control of the camera, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. If you're trying to land or take off, you want to make sure that your camera pilot is paying attention or has this thing, which everybody should have it in, is off or in mode 2. Considering I don't have mode 2 set up right now, I can turn it off, and this will allow you to take off. And when the multi-rotor is spinning, it puts a lot of tension on the top here on the 3-axis, and if you have it on, it will want to walk, and the radian will want to try to overcorrect, and it will be really hairy for taking off and landing. It just won't work very well. Also, I'll lift it up here. I have the pan servo unplugged. That way I can just show you for right now, because if I had it turned on, it would be trying to take my finger off. But you can see how fluid it is. It's just so much more fluid. And you can land and take off in off mode, or mode 1. That's mode 1. It's off. It's really not moving that bad, and you know you got to be a pretty bad pilot if you're coming down like this. So mode off works good for landing and takeoff too. Okay, here's the demo part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record on this right now. That way the video is synced up. So the 5D is recording, and everything's actuated. It's in mode 3, so that way the camera pilot has full control of the gimbal. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to take it and rock it side to side, and show you how stable it is in the in the gimbal here. Now you got to be in some pretty strong turbulent wind to be doing this. Most of your actions are going to be the forward and up, and the back and the down. Some slight side to sides. In the gimbal here. you got to be in some pretty strong turbulent wind to be doing this. Most of your actions are going to be the forward and up, and the back and the down. Some slight side to sides. There you go. This thing really does do a good job. Now, I don't know if you noticed, and the one question I had late at night, and I was up working putting this thing together, and I said, wait a minute. One thing that you're definitely going to see is, because there's no copter on this, let's say this is the boom 1, coming straight out like this, and you're going to do a forward shot, and it will see it. There is no way to limit that. Out of the whole radian stabilization system, if there's one downside, that's a big one. So you have to be very, very aware when you're doing forward flying shots not to get your boom in the way. You can crop it out in post, but no one likes to do that. So I know that John and Tab, they're smart guys. Hopefully in the near future they're going to come out with something that will allow us to put a parameter in there and stop the tilt from going up so high. But as of right now, they have nothing. Other than that, you know, this thing is spot on. This thing is really, really nice. I wish it wasn't $1,000 for it, but I do understand that that they need to pay for things, and I'm sure, you know, the packaging looks great and everything else looks great. They got a lot of money invested in this, so as far as that, I'm happy with it. Hopefully you guys can get something from this video, and until next time, thanks again.